What's up, everybody? Thanks again for stopping by for another edition of March 4th with Mike Bauman. I, of course, am your host, Mike Bauman. Whoever you are, wherever you are listening from, thank you so much for checking out the podcast. If you're a returning listener, I greatly appreciate your continued love and support. And if you're a brand new listener of the show, man, thank you so much for hopping aboard that pirate ship. You can follow me on Instagram at March 4th Pod. I am also on YouTube and TikTok at March 4th Pod. Hey, you know what? If you made it here, then that means you found me somehow. And I truly appreciate each and every one of you taking the time to check out another edition of the March 4th with Mike Bauman podcast. How is everybody doing, man? I hope as you are listening to this that life finds you well and that you're doing good as we head into the home stretch of 2025. It's a great time of year, man. As a big football fan, I love this time of year. College football just started this weekend with week 0. This past weekend, I should say, as this is hitting y'all's eardrums. This upcoming weekend is like the official week 1. High school football's back. We've got NFL football coming up the first week of September. So I don't know, maybe some of you who don't care about foosball, it's neither here nor there for you, but I'm a big fan. I'm a big Detroit Lions fan. So last year was a bit of a disappointing end. It was, but it was a great year. Setting some records. Multiple franchise records were set. They finished 15-2 minus that dinkaroo against the Commanders, but all due credit to Jaden Daniels and Quinn and the rest of those guys for coming up to the Motor City and taking care of business. I'd like to think it would have been a little bit different if the Lions were healthy, but hey, that's the name of the game. Football is a brutal, violent game, and injuries are going to happen, and they just happen to have more injuries than anybody. I think in the record books. I don't want to like misspeak on something I don't know, but I don't know that there's ever been a team of that caliber that had that many guys out. I think they had like something like 16 guys on injured reserve at the end of the year. So kind of hard to win when your some of your best players aren't out there, including Aiden Hutchinson, who had like 7.5 sacks through less than 5 games when he got hurt at Dallas and was well on his way to arguably being the defensive player of the year. So as you can tell, I'm pumped. I have a background in sports broadcasting, even though your boy loves music. So I still follow a lot of ball, a lot of football, basketball mainly, but a lot of football too. So I'm excited. I think Notre Dame obviously had a great showing last year. We'll see this year. Maybe they can get over the hump with some of the guys they got coming back and get to the playoff again and maybe win a chip. We shall see. My Toledo Rockets, I'm actually going to be watching them live in Kentucky with my stepdad and his buddy Larry. So I'm excited for that. I actually went to that game 6 years ago. How time flies. So hopefully there's a different result this time. But yeah, a lot of good stuff, man. Just got a chance to spend some time with my dad and my stepmom in the mountains in North Carolina. Absolutely beautiful. About a week ago, I had a day with those guys where we checked out something like 4 or 5 different waterfalls, all kind of within like an hour or so of each other. And what a pretty state, man. That's the most time I've ever spent in North Carolina, and living that simple life out in the country, man, in the mountains. Their campground where they were is just this, it's a very cool, kind of intimate, small campground, not a bunch of people, beautiful river that runs right behind it in this valley. And it was just awesome. It was a beautiful drive. Your boy, I'd like to think I got some good musical taste doing this podcast and the history I have doing music feature stories and whatnot. So I had a good playlist on the way there, and then on the way back, I just was jamming some classic rock, man. Started that bad boy with some America, A Horse with No Name. What a great song, great riff. That riff is like instant relaxation for me. I've realized that's like therapy. That dun, 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 dun. It's so peaceful. Now I've been through the desert. Okay, Mike. And then I can't hear the other one, Ventura Highway, without thinking of the Californians from SNL. So as you can tell, I've had my caffeine today. I'm never short on words usually, but the coffee has taken effect. But I'm really excited for what's coming up with football season and just travel. And I feel rejuvenated being able to get away from work for a few days and spend some time with my family. And that's important, man. If you've got parents or siblings, as I do, family, friends who live in different parts of the country, it can be tough sometimes, man, not getting a chance to see people the way you did when you were younger. So to any of you younger listeners who are still in like the same hometown, as much as it might drive you crazy, spend as much time with your close friends and your family as possible, especially your grandparents too, because you never know when the last time's going to be. It sounds morbid to say, but it's true. I'm 37 now, and over the last few years, I've seen people go both young and old in my life, and it really is just kind of a reminder to not take the time that we have on this planet for granted, and the time that we have with our loved ones and family friends alike for granted. So spend as much time as you can with them as possible. And this is for me as much as it is for you. Don't sweat the small stuff. Don't beat yourself up. So much of our stress and the things we worry about are in between the ears and not happening in reality. So that old saying of "be where your feet are," the older I get, the more that's true. And don't beat yourself up if you have a moment. If you're having a panic attack, if you're having some nervousness for a date or whatever, don't beat yourself up about it. That's a good thing if you're nervous meeting somebody new for the first time. That means you care. That means you're interested in them. Um, Stop worrying about what other people think so much. It's easier said than done, but that's important in this life. Just be who you are, be unique, do what you love to do. And by doing what you love to do and loving yourself, you will make the world around you better, in addition to just having a better quality of life. And speaking of unique and loving yourself and making great art, man, this is a change of pace here. This one is more of a curveball or a slider, if you will, for the typical March 4th with Mike Bauman podcast. Our guest this week is a unique one, to say the least. Some of you may know the band Sleep Nation, especially the local Nashville listeners who are listening to this podcast. Shout out to Bran and Joey, the out of control rock and roll duo that is Sleep Nation. I had Bran and Joey on for the first time in early 2024, about a year and a half ago, if I'm not mistaken. That was after their record, and then there were two came out. That came out towards the end of 2023. Had them on in early 2024. And then I believe I had Bran on. It was, I think, late 2024. I had Bran on again. It was either late 24 or early 25. I had him on after their album Deadbeat Disco came out. And that was really cool. Got a chance to go to the album release party, got the vinyl. The artwork is really sick. That was an awesome record. Featured several people in the Nashville music scene, including Chris Jackson on the vocals for Sold Out Crowd. Shout out Chris, great guy. Check out his band, All the Tension. Also friend of the show and guest of the show. I digress. But Sleep Nation has a very popular song, one of their most popular songs, called Spaceman. And as it turns out, man, we actually were able to get the Spaceman on the podcast. Still not really sure exactly how he found me. I think he heard some of the podcasts from the transmissions out there in the universe, and very interesting journey. Sleep Nation is just a band that he kind of came upon. And like I said, they have that Spaceman song. But basically, to describe the Spaceman, he's a harbinger of what's to come. He was launched into the void by a secretive black budget space program. He vanished beyond into a black hole and has since returned on a crash landing back to Earth, and basically is kind of a warning of what's to come, the first of the Four Horsemen, uh, the first of that being Conquest. And so the latest Sleep Nation record is basically a Spaceman record in transmission, if you will, called Conquest. And it just came out on August 22nd. And there was a couple of singles that released before that. So this is an interesting podcast. Definitely one that's different than what normally happens on this show, but nonetheless, it was really cool to get the Spaceman on here. He uses his image and his words and his music to basically influence people and prepare the world for what's to come. So through seduction, spectacle, influence, and sound waves, that's kind of what he's here to do. And so it was a little scary, to be honest. It was, but he was kind, and had a little transmish. Couldn't obviously tell me his location, but instead of Bran and or Joey, we got the Spaceman on this one. And like I said, it's right on the heels of this new EP that just came out, Conquest. The single Set Up the Controls, which came out August 15th, has also been added to Apple's new and alternative playlist. So that's pretty cool. That's featured on a curated Apple playlist. So interesting guy. And I think that's about as best of an intro as I can do, is that you guys are going to hear more from the Spaceman and his mission. And it was interesting, to say the least. And I think I'll just leave it at that. So without further ado, I'm going to shut my big yapper and give you guys my conversation with the Spaceman. Here it is. All right, Spaceman, I appreciate you joining me on my podcast. Or I guess, kind of from the part you're coming back to Earth, this being a transmission. So thank you for gracing me with your presence, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mike. I am the Spaceman. August 22nd, I made my debut back to Earth as a new being, a new form, a new existence of life, a higher self, a new appearance of what you might call a god. The first of the Four Horsemen, Conquest. Thank you for allowing this opportunity.
You're welcome. And just as a place to start, man, like, how did you discover March 4th and Sleep Nation, who's kind of the band that you've kind of latched onto? Like, I'm just kind of curious, crash landing back to Earth. How did you come upon Sleep Nation in this podcast?
I've seen a few recordings of the March 4th podcast. I'd make a choice to make this transmission, the first transmission to Earth, to announce everything that's about to happen.
Well, I appreciate that. I guess, my first, I guess, question, now that we've kind of introduced each other a little bit, is should we be worried? There's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world right now. It's definitely a little dystopic. And I usually try to use this platform to be positive, but it's also kind of hard to ignore all of the crazy stuff going on. Anytime I think myself or anybody who's a little familiar with the Four Horsemen hears those kind of things, with this transmission being the first of the Four Horsemen, Conquest, like, should we be worried? Like, what are you coming here to say?
That will be revealed after the last horseman has arrived. I'm only the first, the beginning, the door opener. More will be revealed as each of the horsemen arrive, but I am only the first.
So can you tell me and the people a little bit more about, like, just kind of how this all happened? So from what I understand with this transmission and you being a part of this, you got launched into space as part of a black budget space program, for lack of a better way to say it. And then you got sucked into a black hole, you vanished, they lost contact with you, and then you resurfaced and crash landed back to Earth. What do you remember of that journey, Spaceman? Like, is there anything that you do remember, that you do recall, that you can tell us about where you went, what you saw?
Blips, flashes, small memories. Literally nothing. I can barely remember. The black budget space program took me from my life, threw me in that canister, and shipped me off into the unknown. And next thing I know, I'm newly formed. I've become transformed. And now I am the spaceman, all knowing, all powerful, the first to the Four Horsemen.
What is something about the cosmos that you wish people on Earth like myself understood? Or is it beyond our comprehension? Like what part of the music that you're going to be using and the sound waves, the influence from the stars, like what is it that you hope to convey or that you wish we knew beyond Earth? Because obviously we can get pretty wrapped up in our own lives here on this pale blue dot, as it were. Like what what part of your mission is helping us understand what lies beyond?
Once people hear August 22nd, the Conquest, the full album, once it hits their ears, they will be forever changed. I don't believe they'll understand what lies past the cosmos, what you could see through a black hole, but they will be forever changed. And they will be part of my following. Would you like to join, Mike?
I mean, I'm intrigued by what you're saying, but part of the following makes me like, your boy's a horror movie fan, Spaceman, and when I hear following, that it gives me kind of culty vibes, and
Oh,
a little hesitant with that. I really
hmm.
appreciate you doing this, but I feel like I gotta listen to the full scope so I kind of understand what I'm getting into before I just kind of,
Mm.
sign my name in blood, if you will.
Well, that's interesting to bring up horror movies and bring up you're living in the US. Um they've had some some run-ins with cults, and this will be a new version of that. The others have failed, but this one will prevail.
How so? What gives you the kind of confidence that that your message and your transmission with what is going to be unleashed on August 22nd is going to succeed?
Have you ever heard of a cult that got started through an album?
Not ringing any bells. I mean, there's been a lot of
Ah,
music, obviously, been associated with cults and devil worshiping, the satanic panic of the 80s and whatnot, playing records backwards and all that kind of stuff. But a lot of it usually is just imagery and entertainment, man. Nothing that I feel like is ever really, grabbed people you know, in a cult like way, I would say. I mean, bands definitely have cult like followings. There's bands that I certainly love very, very much, but that word cult, it's got negative connotation to it. That's what freaks me out a little
hmm,
bit.
okay, okay. Well, maybe when you hear the album August 22nd, maybe you'll change your mind.
Time will tell. Time will tell. Now, it is interesting that you bring up the album because a band that you've kind of, I don't know that I really want to use the word possessed necessarily, but they do have a
Oh,
song called Spaceman that's very popular, Sleep Nation, which is based where I am in the Nashville, Tennessee area. How did you connect to Sleep Nation? What's the link here between their song Spaceman and you as the Spaceman as you're presenting yourself to me and the listeners?
somehow, some way, the song Spaceman was transported out in the cosmos, and I was able to hear it, and it brought me back to this world. It was like a Pied Piper. So Sleep Nation kind of brought me back to existence, brought me back to this plane, to this reality, to this universe. And now I am called to be something greater than I once was, to be something powerful and mighty
Would you say you're a force for good, Spaceman? Because again, I keep that word cult freaks me out a little bit. Are you good or are you bad? Because again, there's a lot of, you know, coming back to this, I don't know how much you know about what's happening on planet Earth right now. And like I said, I usually try to steer clear of certain negative waves, if you will, because I'm a big believer in energy and positive and negative energy. And I believe that there's a lot about the cosmos that I know I don't understand, but I do believe in energy. I believe in vibes, and there's a lot of bad vibes right now. So can you at least convey to myself and the listeners, are you a force of good or evil?
I'm more of a force of gray area. There's not really good or evil, just gray. Does that make sense to you, Mike?
A little bit, a little bit. But then, so then my next question would be, why music then? Why music as a form of, I guess, getting people to understand the message that you're trying to convey, and that you're gonna the first one of that is gonna be August 22nd, right? Like, why
Right.
use music as the medium of communication with people here on Earth?
Because music spans time, space, age, race, gender, economic space. It doesn't matter where you are or where you're at. Music can permeate your skin, your being. It's a powerful tool. It's been used for years. I'm not the first one to this race, but I'll be the last.
So see, again, that freaks me out a little bit, man. Like when you say you're gonna be the last one, like I'm only 37, dude. I got more stuff I want to do. I have
I,
more podcasts I want to do. You know what I mean? That
it,
scares me a little bit.
uh, I'm not coming to take you away from your podcast, Mike. I just appreciate you us allowing the spaceman to use your airtime. So you will be spared, Mike. You will be spared.
That makes me feel better. Makes me feel a little bit better. A little bit better. Granted,
Uh,
things are pretty crazy right here on Earth right now
right.
anyway, but I appreciate you saying I'll be spared.
And everyone listening will be spared.
So as long as they are open to the transmission of the spaceman, and they allow the sound waves through the music, they're open to it. They'll be spared of
What
what's
is
to
to
come.
come? You've got it, Mike. You're on the right track.
That makes me feel a little bit better. Makes
Oh,
me feel a little bit better. Has it been weird adjusting back to Earth life, spaceman? Like, I mean, to crash land, and I know you said it's kind of fogs and bits and pieces, vanishing into a black hole and then crash landing back on planet Earth. Like, what is readjusting been like? And can you tell people where you are, or is, as I asked that question, I'm guessing probably
uh,
not.
uh, bit of a jokester here, Mike. Bit of a jokester. Of course, you know that. Already know that answer. My ship has crash landed in an undisclosed location, and I am just existing in your realm at this current moment in space and time.
Well, I'm sure as you can understand and respect, Spaceman, I had to ask the question to do my due diligence as a podcaster with my journalism background. I'm sure you understand it's a question. This isn't a gotcha show, but that's a question I had to ask.
I understand.
So since you've been back, and again, I know there's bits and pieces that you get, and that a lot of stuff you don't remember. I know time is kind of a crazy concept, and I know we don't have infinite time in general, but on this podcast and on this transmission, if you will, and this conversation that you and I are having to get into it, but there's a lot of talk here on planet Earth, man, about is there intelligent life out there? Are there other universes that have maybe not necessarily the same life forms that we have, but intelligent life out there. Can you confirm or deny what lies beyond and what you saw out there? Is that anything that we need to worry about here if it just all goes to hell?
Mm, that's a good question. I wish I could have an answer for you. Um, you kind of get your memory erased when you come out the other side of a black hole and plummet back to Earth. And now you exist in this plane in a new form, in a new body. My old life is non existent. And everything all the data that I gathered, the information and knowledge that I gathered on the way to that black hole is all been lost. Pretty similar to the Apollo emissions. All the telemetry data has been lost. Are you familiar with what I'm speaking about, Mike?
A little bit. A little bit, yes. Yes. One thing I'm curious about, and thanks again, Spaceman, for your time. Um, before we end this, shortly here, again, I'm curious, what have you noticed since you've been back about the human race? I guess the good and the bad since you've crash landed back to Earth. Where do you see us going? Is it bleak? Is it positive? I know you said you exist in the gray. You're neither an evil nor necessarily a good figure. You're just here to kind of bring people as part of your spaceman cult. But what have you observed about human behavior since you've been back on planet Earth?
Mike, you don't have anything to worry about, but and the listeners of your podcast and the listeners streaming the Spaceman Conquest album on August 22nd. But it's not looking good. Even though I do work only in the gray and don't work in a matter of good or evil, there's some troubling things ahead. And it looks like you've already seen that.
Yeah, I mean, your boy's got some anxiety. Just to bring a little levity to this space, man. That's something I've been struggling with for a while. So that doesn't necessarily make me feel better. But I guess in the interim, we're here for a very short period of time. Um, so I guess I just got to make the most of it with these podcasts and with trying to bring the information to the people. Um, I have an open ear, which is why I wanted to give you the time and the space to come on here, as this being a very unique, conversation, just in general, not only the nature of this podcast, but it's not too often that you get to speak to somebody from the great beyond. But I can't say that I'm surprised though. The state of the world right now is kind of scary, kind of trippy. I still think there's a lot of good left in the world, and who knows, maybe music can be something that can save the world. Do you feel that way?
I believe that's kind of already been seen, hasn't it? I mean, it's the great equalizer. Music brings together all different types of people. I mean, you've seen it yourself. What's one of your favorite bands, Mike?
One of my favorite bands,
Yeah.
Seven Dust would be among the top five, 100%. One of my all-time favorite
Hmm.
bands.
So, and wouldn't you say that they uh kind of push the boundaries of what, normally American metal is performed by predominantly Anglo-Saxon males, but it seems like the band Seven Dust has broken those boundaries. So just in that one small instance, it seems like that music does kind of push through and reach the other side.
100%. 100%. Shout out Lejean, man. Yeah, LJ, one of my all-time favorite singers. And a band that is a force to be reckoned with live. I don't care what planet it's on. Big fan of the live shows, but yes, I think music, I just the power that it's worked in my life, the people that I've been able to connect with through this podcast space, man. My close friends that share similar musical tastes and people that don't listen to the same music as me. That's always exciting to me when I can, put them on to a band. And a lot of artists that I have on this show are a lot of bands that are on the come up, if you will. They're bands that are maybe a little bit more underground and are making a name for themselves. And so it's been really and I'm not tooting my own horn, but it's been cool to have this podcast as a medium to connect people with something new that maybe they weren't aware of before. And that's what made me curious about this opportunity to talk with you, because as you seem to realize the power of music and its ability to connect people, um, its access to memory, and how music is something that's really closely associated to that with a lot of people, especially people like me who really love it. So I'm very curious about Conquest. I'm very interested in this. I can't say that I'm necessarily the type to join a cult. It's part of the reason why I didn't join a frat in college. Thanks, folks. I'll be here all night. Um, but I am curious about listening to Conquest.
Mm. Are you familiar with subliminal messaging, Mike?
Very much so. Yes, very much so.
Uh, well, I just want everyone to listen to the new album. Unfortunately, it is being transferred and transmitted and sent through two individuals known as Sleep Nation. But nevertheless, it will be released.
I mean, I know those dudes. They're good guys. So
Mm.
I don't know how culty they lean, but it sounds like they don't really have a choice in the matter. But I feel like if there's going to be two individuals you were going to pick to latch on to, for lack of a better way to say it, I feel like those guys can bring it live, and and off stage are good dudes. So I feel like you picked the right guys to transmit your message.
Mm. Thank you, Mike. And once again, thank you to your listeners. Thank you for this time and space and radio waves and frequency for me to announce that the album is out and everyone can listen to it on August 22nd.
You're welcome. Well, Spaceman, I appreciate the time. I don't know if you're aware of this, but about a decade and a half ago now, I guess we're getting there. A lot of people thought the world was going to end in 2012. They used Johnny Cusack to make a movie about it. People went and saw a movie about it. There's obviously been a lot of movies, music, books about the end of the world and doom and gloom and whatnot. So I'm going to leave you with two things. One, I am interested in listening to Conquest. Your boy's open to new music, and I love the dudes in Sleep Nation. But two, I'm holding out hope that maybe you're wrong, that maybe the end isn't near, because we've been told that before in my lifetime, and we have soldiered on. So maybe in the space that you existed in the gray, music will have power to transmute. I mean, after all, space is infinite, as I am to understand it, and I believe that there's worlds beyond the one that we live in, including intelligent life, and certain things are beyond human understanding. So maybe that means what you're going to be transmitting could have a positive effect. So I'm holding out hope for what it's worth.
Well, I appreciate your positive outlook, Mike.
Thanks, man. It's what helps get me through the days. So, Spaceman, I appreciate the time. I I I know you can't tell me where you are. This has been very different from what I normally do. But I am appreciative that somehow you were able to see this podcast, and it was something that you thought would be a good medium to let the people know about Conquest and about Spaceman. And and Sleep Nation. So yes, thank you for your time and whatever undisclosed location you are in, my friend. I hope that life finds you well and that the end is not near.
We will see. Once again, thank you.
All righty, dighty, there you have it. That was my conversation with the Spaceman in conjunction with Sleep Nation. Their latest release is a Spaceman EP. It's called Conquest, the first of the Four Horsemen, if my memory serves me right. It just came out August 22nd. So make sure you go follow Sleep Nation at Sleep Nation TV. Even though we had the Spaceman on, I'm going to plug my boys in Sleep Nation. Follow them on Instagram at Sleep Nation TV. The links to all of their music will be in the podcast description for this episode, including the aforementioned Spaceman EP Conquest. So just scroll down to the bottom of that podcast description, hit those links, and go follow and support Sleep Nation. If you're into indie, alternative rock, if you're into like Depeche Mode and synthwave and kind of dark wave stuff, especially like I said, Depeche Mode and sort of that kind of vibe, Nine Inch Nails, I definitely think that Conquest will be up your alley. So shout out to the Spaceman. I appreciate him taking the time to come on the show and share his journey with myself and the listeners. A little scary, even though he was friendly. I hope the end of the world isn't near. I still feel like there's a lot left that I'm supposed to do. And I don't really know what that is. I know I love and enjoy doing this podcast and bringing you guys these conversations and speaking about mental health and new music. And like I said, this one was more of a curveball to the typical content that I have on here, but it was cool, man. It was cool to get the Spaceman on here, and for my sake and all of your sake, I hope he's wrong. I hope that the biblical sort of end of the world isn't happening. And as much as I really enjoy the Conquest EP from the Spaceman and Sleep Nation, I hope it's just fun music and not actually kind of a warning of what's to come. And he billed himself as I don't know if I said that right with my Midwest accent. We tend to put Y's before our A's. I don't know if it's harbinger or harbinger. I don't know. Maybe it's harbinger. I'm going to guess instead of harbinger. Harbinger sounds like a pitcher for the Toledo Mudhens in like 1984, like Hal Harbinger. Sounds like a relief pitcher that would come in like the eighth inning, and you know what I mean? So I don't know. Some internet troll will probably hate on me. How do you not know how to pronounce that, dude? You have a degree in journalism. I know. I don't get everything right. I don't pretend to know everything. There's a lot I don't know, including exactly what is to come from what the Spaceman was talking about. But hey, man, if I got launched into space by some covert ops military thing and went on the other side of the black hole and came back to tell the tale, I probably would be a different person as well. Good Lord. So anyway, spacey, pun intended. Yes, I know, cheesy dad joke there, but spacey convo with the Spaceman, but entertaining nonetheless. So once again, I hope you guys you enjoyed it. Go check out the Conquest EP from the Spaceman in conjunction with Sleep Nation. It's available wherever you get your music. Once again, the links will be in the podcast description for this episode. Go follow Sleep Nation at Sleep Nation TV. It was great to go to that release show this past Friday and see some really cool people in the Nashville music scene who I've had the chance to get to know a little bit better, man. And it makes me feel good. It makes me feel good to know that I'm meeting some good people out here, which is why I hope that the end is not near, man, because I'm just getting to know some of these people and they're cool. So again, I hope the Spaceman's wrong, but I appreciate his time and I appreciate all of you. If you did enjoy that conversation, once again, you can follow me on Instagram at March 4th Pod. I'm also on YouTube and TikTok if you look up March 4th Pod. My link tree with the links to all of my stuff, including past articles, feature stories that have been done about the podcast, and like Q&A interviews that I've done with some online publications like the Nashville Voyager and Canvas Rebel, to name a few of them, which was very humbling and very cool. And I appreciate them and their support of independent creators out here. But all of that's in my link tree, and that is in the podcast description for this episode. So if you did enjoy what you heard and you don't want to miss any future conversations, if the Spaceman brought you here, If you're listening from Mars or Neptune or Texas or Ohio, wherever you're listening from, and this is your first time aboard that pirate ship, if you would be so kind to like and subscribe, you will not miss any future episodes. And when you like and subscribe and you tell a friend to tell a friend and leave a rating and a review on whatever streaming service you just listened to this podcast on, that goes a long way in telling the algorithm that you guys dug the show. And it'll help the episode rank higher organically, and it'll help get this conversation out to more people. Boy, my Midwest accent really came out there. Organically. But it will if you leave a rating. I know Spotify and Apple, they have a 5-star rating system. Spotify, you can leave comments on episodes. I believe you can on Apple as well. Apple, when you rate the podcast, you can also comment as well. Those things in particular really, really help out the show. So I would super, super duper appreciate it if you took the time to do that. And when you subscribe too, you get access to all the back catalog of the podcast as well, and can check out previous episodes from way back in the day. And not the name drop, but there's some gems in there. There's some fun ones in there from the early days of March 4th, back when it was Bauman's Breakdown. So over 200 episodes at this point, just in the history of the podcast, and we're closing in on almost 200 just for March 4th. So, all encompassing, including Bauman's Breakdown, I think I'm around like 215 episodes. And that includes some like throwback shows that I posted. But just for March 4th, this is episode, I believe, 184, man, just since I've been cranking these out since 2020. So I really appreciate everybody's time. I hope that everybody has an amazing week. Hopefully that conversation didn't scare you. Just be good to people, man. Like I say at the end of every episode, as a tribute to my Gramp and my Gram, keep the faith and be kind to one another and be kind to yourselves. Courtesy of the Spaceman, here is the single, Set Up the Controls. Preach.
Set up the controls for the heart of the sun. Set up the controls for the heart of the sun. Make a way for the best motherfucker to be won. Got my sidekick, an android, a megaton. You don't know if I'll ever become one. I'm the greatest creature that's ever been sung. You will praise me for eternity. Feel the orange glow down on bended knee. Ride the wave through the fire and the flame. Chase the edge where the stars hold my name. In the shadow of the cosmos, I'll find my run. Set up the controls for the heart of the sun. You don't know if I'll ever become one. I'm the greatest creature that's ever been sung.